Yo, what's going on, guys? As you can see, Orlando Magic hold a dear place in my heart. That's where my first game I ever went to back. If you guys lived in the Seminole Lake, neighboring counties of Orange County, I believe, is the county that Orlando is in, and they would hand out to local elementary school $5 tickets for nosebleeds. My dad used to take me all the time, and huge Orlando Magic fan. I still remember that 08-09 season, the last year I lived. I lived in my last year, Lake Mary, after living in like Eustis, Mount Dora area. And man, that my dad, I remember my mom was living in Maryland, starting to work before we moved to Maryland, and my dad put the TV in his bedroom, and he'd let me stay up late because I was like 9, stay up late every night till like midnight to watch the finals. And I haven't had that. I'm literally getting goosebumps thinking about this. Like and subscribe for every single NBA team, 150 videos at least a month, and we're almost at 10,000. Hit that like and subscribe button. Only 6% of you guys are watching or subscribed, so hit that like and notification bell. Supposedly, a lot of my subscribers actually have the notification bell more than average, so that's actually really cool that most of you have your notification bells turned on for me more than what the YouTube shows is the average, so that's cool. Either way, let's talk about the Magic. What do you guys think down below is going to be their record? I think this team, guys, I know I'll have an actual prediction video when training camp starts in September, but this team's a borderline play-in team. Out of all the lottery teams, besides like some of the teams that shouldn't have been in the lottery, that were playoff teams, this team is probably the best out of like the Rockets, okay, the Thunder. This team is closest to be a play-in team. People forget how good Jonathan Isaac is. Markelle Fultz, I've said this before, is arguably one of the best perimeter point guard defensive guards, and he's one of the best attacking the rim guards. And if they can start instilling Dallas Mavericks driving kick type offensive plays where they have Markelle drive to the rim and either draw a foul or kick it out to a shooter, oh my god, they could have him be like Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic light. And there's so much other things I want to talk about, but I really do think Markelle Fultz is going to have a most improved type player of the year, because dude, even if he's an above average starter without a jump shot, he's elite with a jump shot. It's all about the jump shot. Let's talk about some stuff that happened. So Robin Lopez left, Ignas left, okay, and we drafted Paolo Banchero. We drafted Caleb Houston. We signed Admiral Schofield to a two-way, Kevon Harris to a two-way. We brought back Mo Bamba on a really cheap deal. We brought Gary Harris on a cheap deal. Bol, baby! We're giving him a shot, it seems like. Okay, so those are some of the news. Now, the roster as of right now, it's a little interesting. Also, we have Xavier Simpson and another guy we brought in on a Exhibit 10 contracts, and Exhibit 10s are just training camp deals. So it seems like Devin Kennedy and Xavier Simpson and this one last guy. Let me give it to you guys because I want to make sure I don't overlook who it was. But besides Xavier Simpson, I can't find who it was, but basically we signed another guy who I'm going to find right now to compete. Xavier Simpson and somebody else is going to compete. Drake Jeffries from Wyoming, and Xavier Simpson and Devin Kennedy are going to compete for the last spot. I personally have my money on Devin Kennedy unless Drake Jeffries shoots lights out. Devin Kennedy's been around the team and he was cooking in the summer league. Admiral Schofield and Kevon Harris look like our two guys who are going to be on the two ways. Caleb Houston was a dog. RJ Hampton's almost 6'7". He grew to 6'6". We'll talk about everyone. I think the starting lineup personally next season will look like Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr. with Mo Bamba backing up Wendell Carter Jr. and even maybe a little bit of Paolo Banchero. Paolo will be the power forward. Wendell will be the center. Then you have Chumo Kiki and Mo Wagner, Bol, and being the backups for the first three guys in the front court. If we put the front court power forward and center, the three-man rotation will be Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter, Paolo Banchero. Then the fourth guy will probably be Chumo Kiki. Then fifth guy will be Mo Wagner, and the guy who's going to compete with Mo Wagner for that fifth spot and maybe be the sixth guy is Bol. So Mo Wagner and Bol will fight for that fifth spot in the front court rotation because all their front court guys can play power forward or center. So Mo Bamba and Chumo Kiki, Mo Wagner, and Bol off the bench for Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. Admiral Schofield, he's more of a wing, but he can be a small ball four, in my opinion. Then I think Caleb Houston and Jonathan Isaac will play some power forward, okay, and get in that rotation. But I think Jonathan Isaac, they want to run Jonathan Isaac, Caleb Houston, and even Chuma Okeke, all with Terrence Ross and Franz Wagner at the wing position. So at the wing positions, I think it's Chuma Okeke will play some small ball four, but he's more of a wing with Franz Wagner, who's going to be the starter. Terrence Ross, until they trade him, will be one of the rotational pieces like Gary Harris. Gary Harris will start until they trade him, or they'll go with the young guys. But I think Gary Harris and Terrence Ross will be in the rotation. But Franz Wagner will be the starting wing with Terrence Ross, Jonathan Isaac. Until Jonathan Isaac is 100% healthy, then they'll bring in him. And I could see us going Wendell Carter Jr., Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, and Markelle Fultz as a starting lineup at some point of the season to try out this super big, almost kind of pseudo, Cleveland Cavaliers type lineup, which would be ridiculous. But I do think Markelle Fultz is an underrated player who will be the starter with, I believe, Cole Anthony as the sixth man. Jalen Suggs, supposedly they're going to run him at shooting guard. And RJ Hampton, they're going to try at shooting guard and probably a little bit at the wing. I think because of his size that he keeps growing. He's 6'6", so I think they're just going to try him out there. But the guy that I see at the bottom of the rotations are Mo Wagner's not going to play much. Admiral Schofield won't play much. Bol, if he beats out Mo Wagner, he'll play more, but Kevon Harris won't play much. I don't think Caleb Houston will play much. Really, the main rotation is going to be Markelle Fultz, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., okay? Gary Harris in the starting lineup. That's our starting five. Then you have Mo Bamba, probably Cole Anthony. I said Markelle Fultz, right? Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, probably Jalen Suggs. That's your 8 guys right there. Then you probably want to play either Chuma Okeke or Terrence Ross right there. Then RJ Hampton. That's your 11 guys. And then you put already, with Jonathan Isaac coming back into the mix, we don't know when he'll be part of there. So you have 12 guys right there. And this is why I think this team is a play-in team, because they're so freaking deep. They have 12 guys right there before we even got to Mo Wagner and Bol, which is the 13th and 14th guy. And then they have their two-ways, okay? And then their 15th guy is Caleb Houston. And this team is deep as hell. And this is why I keep saying, I really do believe this team is like a play-in team that people are not really 100% believing that can be this good. And I'm telling y'all, team's a lot better than a lot of you are being led on to believing, because I think people are just used to this team just not being good. And I just hate to break it to y'all that I think this team is a borderline, between the 10th and 9th seed, just because of how deep they are and how talented they are, in my opinion, with just two-way ability. Like Markelle Fultz, two-way, okay? Gary Harris, two-way. That's already 2 guys. Franz Wagner, two-way. Terrence Ross, two-way. Okay? Paolo Banchero showed two-way ability. Wendell Carter, two-way. Mo Bamba, two-way. Chuma Okeke, two-way. Okay? Jalen Suggs plays defense, theoretically two-way. Okay? And then you have Jonathan Isaac, two-way. You have 10 guys who are two-way players. When you have that much two-way, you want that. You want that entirely. So you just think there and you're like, damn, this team is really loaded. And for me, I think that's where it comes down to. I don't think a lot of people were anticipating this team to be this good. And I think that's why they're going to rock the boat. They're going to rock the boat and shock some people. Let me hear your thoughts.